okay? So today my menu is an elevated picnic, sort of. So it's very hot now. I don't know where all of you guys are living, where you guys are, what all the weather is where you are, but here we are in Utah. It is 90 degrees. It is summer, full force summer. And that means, first of all, my favorite time of year because food. Like the farmer's market is exploding with beautiful produce. And also that means that picnics are here, so we can eat outside. So this is kind of a fun showcase of some elevated picnic items that you guys could make at home. So I'm starting off talking about our electric ovens, whether you have a dual fuel range, whether you're looking at the wall ovens, they're electric. And I already have something going in here that I'm going to pull out and show you guys. The mode that I'm going to talk specifically about today that I'm utilizing is the convection mode. And I'm just going to kind of show you guys what I have going in here. Ooh, it's about to spill over, but those are strawberries that have been roasting away in the oven. So I'm kind of making a quick and easy, almost strawberry jam, but a little bit looser than a jam. So this has been going for already about an hour. I'm going to let it go for another hour till the end of this class. But those strawberries, they have been marinated, I'll say, in a mixture of just lemon juice and a little bit of sugar and some salt. It is strawberry season and the strawberries are so sweet right now. We needed very little sugar because they inherently have so much sweetness. And as you roast the strawberries on this convection mode, the sweetness and the sugars inherent in the strawberries are going to come out. So they're going to get sweeter and even better. Okay. So that is what we're doing, a roasted strawberry jam, or compote, what we could call it. And now, as I said, we're using the convection mode. I'm going to go ahead and cook one other thing in that oven at the same time. Okay. So the first dish I'm making, I should also mention, is dessert. So because, you know, dessert first, we want to get this going. And what it's going to be sort of a layered dessert. And you'll see we're going to serve it in little mason jars, which is perfect for picnicking. So that's why we are creating these little mason jar kind of trifles, like little parfaits. We're going to do layers of a honey sweetened mascarpone with our roasted strawberries and a coconut crisp. Okay. So this is big flakes of unsweetened coconut and sliced almonds. I love the texture that you get from these beautiful little sliced almonds, not the slivered ones. These are the sliced ones, beautifully crunchy and flaky. And then we're just going to add a little bit of pure maple syrup. And then we're going to add some salt. And you saw not very much maple syrup. I don't want this to be overly sweet. We just want it to kind of bring out a little sweetness and create a crisp where all of these are kind of going to stick together. And then I'm just giving this a nice little toss on the sheet pan. And this is going to go right into that oven. Okay. So the Wolf convection ovens are truly amazing. And when I say that, what I mean is if you guys have owned a convection oven in the past, or your oven has, it's a convection oven and it has a button where you just push convection maybe. In general, as a rule of thumb, I do not use those modes. That is because most other brands, the convection mode is not even, and it just sort of creates this crazy spinning fan in the back, pushing hot air, cold air all over the place, and you get uneven hotter spots, colder spots. It's just not quite what you would want it to be. However, the Wolf, and I'm going to go ahead and keep that, the Wolf convection ovens are fabulous. And when I say that, I mean it is probably my go-to mode because the Wolf convection ovens, the Wolf electric ovens, all are dual convection, meaning there are 2 fans in the back of every oven. Not only that, they are true convection, so the heating elements are directly in front of those fans. So as the fans blow, the heat comes out and pushes that hot air evenly up and down all the way throughout the oven cavity. That is what makes the perfect convection mode. We don't have, there are 2 other heating elements in the ovens, top and bottom, just like every other oven. But on the straight convection mode, we aren't utilizing anything but the back 2 heating elements. Therefore, it is truly even top to bottom. You don't have any variance in temperatures because you don't have any heating elements on. It's all coming from the back. Also, they are, because we have that moving air, they are more powerful. They are going to cook a little bit hotter and faster. So I've got the temperature here set at 300. If I didn't have convection on, I would have it more at about 325. So I dropped my temperature about 25 degrees, and we'll start checking these for doneness a little bit sooner. Those strawberries might take more like 2.5 to 3 hours, but because I have them on the convection mode, it's gonna take about 2 hours, okay? So that is our convection ovens. I love them. They are so fabulous. Great for multiple rack cooking. And overall, I just use it in general because I know the power of it. I know how it works, and I like how it works, okay? Do you have any questions about convection? It's kind of a straightforward mode. We do have many other modes that I'm not talking about today because, as I said, I'm just showcasing. I don't want to go too deep into every single mode. There is a bake mode. There is a roast mode, a convection roast mode. All of these modes utilize different heating elements and different convection fans to create that perfect environment for whatever you might be cooking, okay? So each mode does sort of favor a certain type of cooking. The convection mode is kind of your go-to safety, most even and a little bit hotter and a little bit faster. The other actual benefit I want to mention about that convection mode is it does not allow the transfer of odor and flavors, which we'll talk about again later. But in the oven, you could be cooking on the convection mode a side of salmon and cookies, and you won't get any crossover of flavors. So that's kind of a really nice benefit of that convection oven as well. All right, so if you don't have any questions on this, I'm gonna go ahead and move along to our steam oven, one of my favorite appliances to talk about. But if you come up with more questions later, feel free to ask throughout the entire process. Do not be afraid to shout out anything, okay? So now we're gonna be talking about the steam oven. And what's cool is you guys can't see what's in my little container here, but what we are gonna be making next is, let's see if we can, there you can see them, little lobster tails. We are making lobster rolls because it is summer, and this is one of the best little summer dishes, kind of light, but also very filling and rich and satisfying. If anyone's ever been too scared to cook lobster at home, this is your chance with the steam oven, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pop this open, and you guys can see, for anyone interested in the steam oven, this is truly one of our, everyone in the showroom here, this is one of our favorite things to use. It does so many things. What I'm showcasing today is just the steam mode. So I am steaming these little lobster tails. I've got this fun little dish. It's got holes in the bottom. I don't think you guys could see that. But that way the steam can circulate all the way through, and they're gonna cook evenly. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put that right on a rack, and I'm actually gonna place this solid pan right underneath so that it'll catch all of those lobster drippings, okay? Unpreheated oven, notice. You really don't need to preheat most things when you are using the steam oven. So, actually before I forget, I'm gonna turn the grill on. So I put this in a cold oven. Nothing's happened yet. Now what we're gonna do is Abby's gonna go ahead and she's gonna zoom in so you guys can see a little bit more, hopefully, of what I'm doing with the button pushing. Our steam oven also has quite a few different modes that work differently and are fabulous. Like I said before, I'm using the steam mode. What you can see here, you'll see there's a steam, a convection mode, which acts like a regular oven. There's a convection and steam mode that combines high heat and steam, and you get a fabulous crisping while also the inside being moist and tender. There's a convection humid mode, which is sort of retains the moisture inherent in foods and allows that to circulate in the oven. So it's kind of like putting a lid on something and retaining all of that moisture. Great for braising, great for baking cakes, a lot of different things with that convection humid mode. And finally, there's a reheat mode, which I'm sure you all can imagine. Leftovers in the steam oven are so much better than a microwave. We can't even almost put them in the same conversation. Your leftovers are brought back to life, and they'll truly sort of revived. You'll never have leftovers any other way. So those are all the basic modes, and I am, like I said before, utilizing the steam mode. So this steam mode is actually fabulous, not just for steaming vegetables or lobster tails, which we're doing right now. I'm gonna actually set a timer. We're gonna go about 12 minutes for these guys, and it starts. So this is now gonna start injecting steam into the cavity. It's gonna get steamy. It's at 210 degrees, which is the inherent temperature of steam. And this is gonna take from start to finish 12 minutes, okay? Then we'll pull the lobsters out and get them all ready to put into our lobster tail. Other cool things you can do with that steam mode, actually, just so you have an idea, we do rice. I do cook all my rice in the steam oven. It makes perfect, fluffy, beautiful, individual grained rice. We make polenta, we make risotto, we make hard or soft boiled eggs beautifully with no boiling pot of water, cracked eggshells, none of that. It's so, so simple. You can do cooked custards like a creme brulee or a pot de creme. There's so many things you can do with that steam oven, and we just love it. Today, I'm just showcasing one thing, which all of you should utilize in the summer, lobster. We're doing little lobster rolls, okay? Very easy, and it sort of takes away all that fear that there can be around cooking lobster tails. So we've got those going. Any questions? All right, so I could just smell these. I want to show you guys. I could smell these starting to toast. This is our beautiful little coconut crisp. And I'm just giving them another little toss, making sure everything's getting evenly toasty and nothing's sticking to the sheet pan. Okay, looking beautiful, going back in. These probably need about 5 or so more minutes. The smell is already fabulous in here. All right, so that's kind of our initial talk on ovens. Simple enough. Usually there's a few questions regarding the steam oven. For anyone interested in the steam oven, do we have any questions or concerns? Okay, nothing so far. Just so you guys know, it is not plumbed. The water container is here. So if you're interested in doing a remodel or something, you don't need to worry about adding in a plumb line. You just add regular tap water to this container and everything goes on its merry way. Anyways, we can already start to see that steaming happening. All right, so then we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna move along. We've talked about all of our cooking in items. Now we're gonna talk about all of our cooking on items. So the first thing I'm gonna start with is going to be our burners. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll get this going, and then I did remember one other thing I need to do. We're gonna get this going, okay? So the first thing, I'm actually just gonna snag this from you, thank you. The first thing I'm gonna do, since we were talking about those lobster rolls, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna serve those lobster rolls. I wish I had people here so I could get votes on who likes a New England style lobster roll, and for anyone out there who knows what that means, that would be the kind of lobster roll that has mayo. It's a little bit more chilled, okay? So do we have, raise your hands if you're at home, or do we have any of the Maine style lobster roll fans? That's what I like, and that's kind of what I'm doing today. That means warm and butter, lots of butter, okay? So what I'm doing, I have got clarified butter, okay? So I actually made this just a little bit earlier. For anyone out there who knows what clarified butter, or maybe anyone who doesn't know, I'll kind of explain. Look at that beautiful golden liquid. So what I did is you actually can just melt butter. It's another word for it is ghee. For any of you out there who know what ghee is, what you do is you melt butter and you wait until the milk solids separate from the butter fats. You kind of can see it's like you think to yourself, what does that even mean? If you saw it, you would know. The white little parts kind of separate and all the golden liquid is really at the bottom. So once it separates, you pull it off the heat, you scoop off any of that white foam, and then you pour out carefully the golden liquid, leaving any of the milk solids that are heavier, and they're on the bottom of the pan, okay? That is now clarified butter. Beautiful, it will not burn, it is delicious. It's almost got a little bit of a brown buttery sort of flavor. It's a little bit more caramely and a little bit more nutty. So that is our clarified butter. To this, we're not gonna leave it there, although honestly, lobster with clarified butter, delicious. You almost need nothing else. However, we are going to elevate it a bit because remember, this is an elevated picnic. So I am going to turn my burners on very low. And when I say very low, I mean our burners have a magical ability to go from, let's see, Ab, should we try to show them with that camera? I don't know how it's gonna do. I wanna see if you guys can see the difference. Maybe this one. Oh, you're gonna bring it. Oh, Abby's gonna go the extra mile. She's gonna pick up the camera. So it's gonna get a little wobbly. That's just so you guys can see what's happening with this simmer. Oh, Ab, thank you, sorry. Okay, So this burner right here, you guys are gonna see I'm gonna turn it on high, okay? That's what we are. Oh, I chose the wrong one. That's what we're all used to. That's high, turn it to low. This is still too high for what I want. So I can actually push it on my burner and keep turning, and a second flame will pop up. Did you guys see that? That's a lower flame. Very, very true simmer right there. Thank you so much, Abby. That is as low as you can possibly get in a kitchen. Wolf has the ability to go from, oh, we're a little off that, perfect. To go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. So Wolf gives you the ultimate temperature control. And that is what I love in these burners. So now I've got my burner on super low. I don't want it any higher because I don't want this butter to get too hot. I'm just now going to steep some different flavors in there and elevate this lobster roll. So the first thing I'm going to add, this is gorgeous, freshly chopped tarragon, which for those out there who know what tarragon is, I think it is one of the most beautiful but forgotten herbs. People never use tarragon, and it is so good. It's got a little bit of that anisey flavor, and I adore tarragon with seafood, especially lobster, okay? Smells so, so nice. Then we're gonna add just a little pinch of cayenne. I do like a little bit of spice. So I'm gonna pour a little in my hand, probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon or so, and add that in. I want just a hint of spice coming through, nothing too strong. And then finally, essential for a delicious lobster roll, tons of lemon. So my kind of lobster roll is buttery, a little bit herby, and super lemony, okay? So I'm actually gonna go ahead and zest this whole lemon right into that clarified butter. And remember, I have this super low, so it is just steeping. So all of these flavors are gonna start to kind of infuse and come together. And then this is what we are gonna use to dress our lobster once it's all nice and steamed. All right, that is the whole lemon beautifully zested. And if you'll notice, for those out there who like to zest a lemon or who never have, this is something you should always do when you're using citrus, because the zest is where the true lemon flavor lies, honestly. In the lemon, the juice is where you're gonna get that acidity, that sourness. But the zest is where the essential oils of the lemon are. Therefore, that is kind of where the perfume comes from, and that true like lemony flavor that you think of. So I love to utilize the zest. I add it at the end of cooking for a really fresh, lemony hit, or if you add it sooner, it'll sort of infuse into everything you do. So love lemon zest, obviously. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this lemon in half and squeeze the juice right in there, because I also do want this nice sourness and lemony acidity with the lobster. Such a beautiful pair. All right. And of course, a nice small pinch of salt here, because I did use a very good butter. Since this is the main flavor profile here, you want to make sure you're using a good butter, and I use an Irish butter that is already salted. So I don't need to add very much salt here, okay? Gorgeous. You can kind of see maybe, nope, that's okay. Just know it's a beautiful golden, herby situation that smells fantastic. And now we're gonna just let this sit on that low burner until we're ready to make our lobster rolls, okay? All right. Again, no more questions. We're doing good, I think. Okay, I'm gonna actually leave this spoon. I was gonna put it away, but I'm gonna want that again later. All right, guys, so now we've got that going. Just so you know, my timer here says 3 minutes. I do kind of like to just check in on those guys. I should mention before I move on, what is important to note about lobster, they're not all the same size. And tails especially can really vary from, 3 ounces to 6 ounces, 7 ounces even. You can get big, giant lobster tails. So you can't trust a timer when you're steaming lobsters. What I'm doing is I tested one before, so I know kind of about the amount of time I want to do, but I will watch. And as soon as that shell turns bright red and the flesh is opaque and no longer translucent, that is when they're done. You cannot overcook lobster or it will not taste good. It will get rubbery and tough and just not have that beautiful sweet flavor that we know and love lobster for, okay? So you want to be a little bit careful if this is the first time you're cooking lobster and it's a little bit bigger. You're gonna probably wanna go a little bit longer than what I'm doing. I've got fairly small ones. Small Maine lobsters tend to be much sweeter and better in flavor than the big spiny lobster tails, but both work great. If you got the big spiny lobster tails, you might be more like 15, 16 minutes where I'm at 12, okay? So just a big heads up. You gotta follow the cues when you're cooking. Don't just follow a recipe exactly, okay? So I am just gonna do a quick check. We are very close. I'm probably gonna pull these out about 30 seconds or like 45 seconds early because they do look, we're right on the edge of that bright red color that I'm looking for, okay? Now, while I'm waiting those, I don't wanna go too far because I'm about to pull those out and I don't wanna forget. So 2 things with our dessert, which I can smell, that lovely crisp, which means it is done and gorgeous, okay? Look at that gorgeous toasty crisp. And we've got, as we let it cool, it's gonna sort of crisp up even more, but that is gonna be our almost crispy, streusely accent to our dessert. So I can set that aside. Cool, okay? And the last thing I wanted to show you, off, that's timer. I'm gonna pull these lobsters out, okay? So, without further ado, let's look at these beauties. This is where you can get your facial. If anyone likes a lobster facial, it's great. I can pull these out and show you guys. Ooh, I'm gonna use this cloth because, as you can imagine, these are steamy, so they can get water all over, which is fine. I just don't really feel like cleaning that up. And look at our beautiful bright red lobster tails, okay? Well, they don't look bright red to you guys on the camera, but they are here. These are ready to go. So I'm actually gonna have Yvonne just put those on, just put them on like some ice so they kind of stop cooking, and therefore we get that perfect lobster meat, okay? And then we're gonna pull the meat out. I'll have Yvonne kind of pull the meat out while we're working on something else, if you wanna do that. Just so we can be ready to show you how we assemble our lobster rolls in the end. But that, everyone, is our lobster and our steam oven. Perfect timing. What I was just saying I'm doing right now. Our dessert, this is a mixture of mascarpone and some honey. Not very much honey because I don't want this mixture to be too sweet, but it is it's almost cheesecake-like in its flavor. Mascarpone, if you don't know, it's kind of like the Italian version of cream cheese, just much better than American cream cheese, like most things in Europe are. And I'm going to add, very simply, a pinch of salt. I add a pinch of salt to absolutely everything. It's not going to make it salty. It's just going to bring out any flavors that are hiding in there. It's going to make this taste more cheesy and a little bit more honey-y, okay? So that's there. And then finally, what I'm going to do before we move on to our next appliance is a vanilla bean. So I am going to really elevate this. Like we've discussed, I'm doing vanilla bean to infuse flavor into our mascarpone. So it is a beautiful little vanilla bean. For those who've never seen this, what you do is very gently, I like to take a paring knife and you slice open that little pod, okay? And I try not to go all the way through because I prefer to then take these little split sides and kind of fillet it open. And then you just scrape all the seeds. You can kind of see that. I'm filleting it open and you just use your knife, the back of your knife, to kind of scrape down the sides, and that will pull off all this beautiful vanilla caviar. This is what dreams are made of. This is the good stuff, okay? And I am just gonna let that kind of plop it right into our mixture. Oh, this is a beautiful thing to watch. You can see those little vanilla beans getting everywhere, all throughout. This is gonna be such a delicious, oh, it just smells so good. That vanilla is so strong. Whew, it's beautiful. That's gonna be a lovely little mixture to pair with our berries and our coconut crisp. So you can't really see it very well in the camera, but those vanilla beans are everywhere throughout this mixture, and it is, when someone sees that, they're gonna know, and then they're gonna taste it, and they're gonna know that you really went all out for them with that vanilla bean, okay? That's our mascarpone. That's every item we need for our dessert. I will save this to go in my homemade vanilla extract, which is delicious, okay? And now we can move along to our next item. And I keep checking on this beautiful butter. Smells so good. We're gonna talk about our charbroiler. So what I'm gonna show you guys, what I have here, we are grilling zucchini. And you know what, I realize I'm gonna show you guys, I wanna show you guys how I prep these zucchini. So we're gonna come back here real fast, and then we'll go over to our grill to finish them up. So you guys can see here, I've got these beautiful little long zucchini logs. I sliced them in half, and then I really want the camera to focus. You guys see, and you can see liquid dripping off of it. That's fine, I want you to see that. I like to prep these in advance, okay? Because zucchini is filled with water, and water is not flavor, and I want flavor. So, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do it, but I slice them in half lengthwise, and I kind of cut a few crisscross diamondy pattern, and then I salt them. And I let this sit for at least 30 minutes. If you can do a little longer, great. All of the water in the zucchini is gonna kind of come out, and then I take a paper towel, and I just sort of pat it down. So now this is gonna be even more concentrated in flavor, and we're gonna get incredible browning and caramelization. Because when you've got a really wet zucchini, that wetness is sort of the enemy of browning. So now we're gonna get the absolute best quality charred grilled zucchini product possible. So I'm patting these all dry. And now let me quickly show you how I do it, okay? So you got beautiful zucchini. You want to slice it lengthwise. And if you'll notice, I keep the little stem end on. I like that, I think it looks cute. I really do. You don't eat it really, but it looks adorable, okay? So you've sliced lengthwise, and then you're gonna take your knife, and you can use the big knife, but I've got a paring knife here, and that's even better. And you're just gonna cut a crosshatch pattern, kind of like you would do if you were scoring a pork shoulder or a duck breast. I'm doing that same pattern, which is gonna allow the salt to really get into the zucchini, and it's gonna help get us these really beautiful, crispy, charred edges all over. So those guys, I'm gonna then show you I salt them, and we'll grill those a little bit later after all the water has had time to come out. But give them a good amount of salt, okay? So let those sit. These zucchinis now, I'm just going to add some olive oil to help them get a beautiful browning and so they don't dry out. Just a little more salt. You don't need a ton here because they're already seasoned, but you do want to season once more. I'm just brushing them all over, okay? And now to our char. This thing is amazing. This is a grill inside your home, okay? This you can literally use if you don't have a grill at home or you live in a cold place and you want to grill all year long. This is the key to happiness. We can take our zucchini, and you guys are going to hear and see that nice sizzle, okay? So I like to place them cut side down right on the char, and you're going to end up, truly, this is just a lot easier than going outside to grill, but you could do this outside as well. The reason this is so nice is if you're grilling something like zucchini that I'm showcasing here in the summer, my favorite way to do almost any vegetable is on the grill. Honestly, it does something that cannot be replicated. Roasted vegetables are fabulous, but grilled vegetables, even better. They are a little bit smokier and they get even more of that caramelization. And you could cook them really fast so they don't get soggy, because I do not want a soggy zucchini. Okay, you don't want to overcook them. You still want a little bit of crunch. And the grill really brings out all the best in vegetables. So I love to grill my vegetables. However, when I grill, if I go outside, you need to turn your grill on, go outside, turn it on. It'll take nice little pops of fire, at least 10 or 15 minutes to preheat. You want it very hot. I don't want to wait that long because guess what? These zucchinis are going to cook in 5 minutes. So it's like, okay, I go outside, turn it on, wait 15 minutes. Then I have to bring all my zucchinis out, bring out tongs, bring out salt, bring out oil, put them on, and you don't want to walk away. You have to wait outside in the 99-degree heat next to a grill so you feel like you're actually 110 degrees, because if you go too far, these are going to burn completely because they will start to go fairly quickly. You guys can see we've already got beautiful char marks, okay? And I'm going to keep going because I want these to get nice and dark. So because of that, having this inside your home is like next level convenient. That's all I'm gonna say. The grill outside will do the same thing, but this is just so much easier. And I love it, okay? So that is our char. It actually, the new dual fuel units have the ability to turn on at high, and they can go all the way down to low. So there's a high, and then a couple little points of medium high, medium low, and low. And that is really nice for a lot of control on your grill. The older version, if you have an older version, or if you have the range top or the gas range, it is just high. There is no other modes, okay? Which is a little bit harder to use, but still does a fabulous job. And for something like the zucchini, most vegetables you want it on high anyways, so it does great. But I wouldn't do something like chicken thighs. The new dual fuel units, you can do everything from a chicken thigh to sausage to zucchini. Any of those items you could do on the grill, and it is giving you a lot more control, okay? And you can use the whole thing. If those other zucchinis are ready, I would fit those on here as well. But that is our char. Just look, already getting such beautiful color on there. So I'm gonna keep those on here like I said. We just want them to get as charred and beautiful as possible. We're gonna get the most incredible flavor. Oh, these are looking fabulous. All right, so do we have any questions on our char? So far, we haven't had any questions, so I'm just gonna keep rolling along, it sounds like. And Yvonne's gonna watch these zucchinis. We're gonna flip them when they're a little bit darker, because I do want a nice amount of color on there. And then they'll only cook for probably like 3 minutes more total, and they'll be done and ready to go, okay? So that is our chart. No questions, sounds like we're good. Okay, so let's come back here. We are gonna next showcase our griddle, which is really, really fun to use. But before we showcase that, I'm going to make our next dish, okay? So we're making next, we've talked about our lobster rolls, our dessert, our sort of picnic appetizer, this charred zucchini, which I haven't showed you how we're gonna finish it yet, but you'll see it has lots of flavor. And then our other little snack appetizer, because it's summer and I literally can't get enough, is corn. Fresh corn that we just shucked earlier and cut all the kernels off of the cob. You know, I mean, it is bright yellow. You guys can see like those cute little corn shingles that as you cut them off, they stay together. Those are my favorite. And then I've got some scallions that have been sliced, some garlic, and a jalapeno. 1.5 jalapenos because we like it spicy here, okay? And then we're just gonna mix it very simply. We've got some Reggiano, but this would also be fabulous with some aged Irish cheddar. That'd be so, so good with these sort of flavors. Pecorino would be delicious. We're going with a Parmigiano because that is the king of cheeses, okay? Just a bit of flour. This two corn cobs and all the kernels from it, about 2 cups of corn kernels, and I've got about 1/4 cup flour. So very little flour comparatively, and about 3 tablespoons of parm. And then I'm gonna add 2 eggs to this mixture, 2 whole eggs, just kind of whisked up. And of course, let's add, I've already added salt, I almost added extra salt, about 3/4 teaspoon, which is not that much, but the Parmesan has some saltiness to it as well, so we don't need too much salt. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and blitz this. I don't know if hold, technical difficulty. This doesn't really want to turn on. I'm gonna try this again. Let's see. If not, we'll just have to move. Nope, this plug doesn't want to work. Don't worry, I have another plug behind me. All right. If your plugs don't work, don't worry, there's always another one. This is why you want as many plugs as possible in your kitchen. Yep, we're good now, we're live. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull until that comes together nicely. And then we're gonna add all of our other little ingredients, okay? So let's add our scallions, our jalapeno, and our garlic. Carefully, I love a bench scraper for this. And you'll see, I use it in my kitchen just for things like this, moving vegetables to where they wanna go. And then I love it for cleaning the griddle, which we will also do momentarily, okay? And I'm adding all of that beautiful corn. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. This corn is so good and sweet. I absolutely ate some earlier raw. It's that good. You could eat just bites of this right off the cob. Truly, it is juicy and sweet. And only can you do that in corn season. So we take full advantage. We lost a few scallions along the way, but that's all right. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and just pulse this 2 or 3 more times so it all comes together. But you don't wanna get too, there we go, love it. You don't wanna go too far because I still like a few nice kernels of corn. But that is our mixture for our corn fritters, okay? Beautiful and flavorful. And I'm gonna move this out of the way and show you guys the griddle. Oh, come over here. And actually this was perfect timing. Yvonne just pulled these off and we just need a moment of applause for that. Look at those. Oh, they all combine on each other. They are gorgeous and they smell good. They still have a little bit of bite to them so they won't be soggy. Thank you, those are seriously perfect. All right, so I can turn the grill off. Easy enough. When you clean this, if you did something like marinated chicken thighs and things were sticking, you use a grill brush just like you would outside. Very, very easy. All right. Okay. So grill done. We are now actually focusing on the griddle, which is right next to it. A big, wonderful, flat surface that is going to be the perfect way to cook up our corn fritters. So I'm going to add a bunch of, this is just a high smoke point grapeseed oil. You could use canola vegetable. I do like to use a high smoke point neutral oil for these. And then I'm going to use a tablespoon. I don't need too much. Ooh, sorry guys, I'm having a moment here. We have a nice little scoop actually that's perfect for this and I forgot. So I've got this nice little scoop. About a heaping tablespoon is what you want. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that. You don't know where my, and I'm going to kind of pat these down. And I'm doing them just like little small, almost, what do you call those, silver dollar sizes? They are so cute. And this way, you'll kind of get, they're a really nice little appetizer. People don't feel overwhelmed, they're too big, but you could absolutely, if you weren't doing what we're doing today is like a picnic style, but you could totally serve these large as a main dish, or, you know, if you want to do a little more composed appetizer. But this way, people can take as many as they want without feeling overwhelmed. So we're making cute little dollar sizes. I'm gonna just come through, pat them down a bit. And you guys are seeing this griddle. It is so perfect at the temperature that I set, and it is completely even. I don't know if you guys, you can kind of see, but this, I can go from any spot. This entire griddle is perfectly even. Every single spot is the same temperature. I don't have to sit here and worry about hot spots that they're not gonna cook evenly because one spot gets hotter than the other. I can literally just layer this up, and every single spot, I can do as many as I need to at once. Every single spot gets evenly cooked. But these are so cute, and I'm so excited, okay? So our griddle, a little more talk on the griddle. I've gotta be honest with you guys, as you've already heard me say, I do have some favorites, okay? I know I shouldn't, we love all the appliances, but this griddle, and I've already spoken about the steam oven, is like really, really amazing. It is like taking a giant cast iron skillet and just stretching it out, taking away the high sides, and giving you perfect even heat. I don't care what cast iron skillet you have, you'll never have perfect even heat on a cast iron skillet because inherently you have a flame that's heating it, and those spots are gonna be slightly hotter. This is even everywhere, and I don't have a bunch of high sides. So I don't have to worry about like getting in and trying to flip perfectly. There's all the space that I need in the world. Oh, I wish they could see that beautiful golden brown little corn fritter that I just flipped. But there's all the space in the world. I can put them wherever, and I have all the space to flip. So flipping a pancake or flipping a corn fritter is no longer stressful. It is easy and it is fun. It makes cooking so fun, you guys. It's kind of like a teppanyaki. Those teppanyaki grills, like what's called bonsai, right? Kind of like that. Now you get one in your home. There is an option. If you decide the grill is not for you, you could get a double griddle. And that double griddle gives you the world to work on. And it is my favorite. That's what I have at my home. And I must say that double griddle is like life changing, okay? I am just flipping And I'm gonna flip some of these ones so you guys can see a little bit better that gorgeous brown crust. Let's see if they can see that one. Okay, go like these are seriously so cute. I could cry. I'm very excited to eat these. And these, as you can see, I try to use as little flour as possible because I don't want them to be floury. I want the corn to be really what you're tasting. And so you might think when you getting this out of the food processor, this is not going to hold together, but it does. And you need a hot surface and you need even surface so that everything is even. But I'm telling you guys right now, you can't really tell. These all look perfectly golden brown, and I love them. When we're done with them, Abby's like behind the camera, like, preach, sister, they're even, because they are, okay? When we're done, obviously nothing is sticking here. We have seasoned our griddle over time. And just like cast iron skillets, you treat them that same way where you're building up layers of seasoning and you're not really cleaning it. We're just utilizing the oil that you're using and sort of wiping it down. We're just gonna take a bench scraper, as I said I will use later, and you scrape off any excess food. While it's still warm, if anything's stuck on, the heat and this metal scraper really help you kind of pull anything that's stuck off. But then you'll just take a cloth and wipe off any of that excess oil. Okay, you don't want to leave a layer of oil on it because it will get kind of gunky and sticky. Wipe all the oil off and you're good to go. It is that easy to use. So that's it. Also, I do mention, a lot of people don't realize this, but please don't use nonstick spray on your griddle. It's not meant for that. The griddle, just use oil. Nonstick spray will sort of create this gunky film on your griddle, and you don't want that, okay? So that is our griddle. I am pulling these off because they are beautiful and done, okay? And I'm just gonna pull them, actually, since we don't get to eat until this class is over, and then we're all gonna feast in here, I have just a little cooling rack. I'm gonna pull these off so they stay nice and crispy, but I will show you kind of how we finish these guys off. Oh, I just love them. They're so cute. So this will help them so they don't get soggy on one side, but you could serve these right away. Kind of like I've said, they will stay good for a picnic. So they're very good at room temperature as well. All the foods I'm making today, you could eat hot or at room temperature. So we've got all these here, but to serve them, we're gonna serve them with some chives over the top. And I'm gonna plate up a few of them right here so you guys can see how we finish them, okay? So we'll take a few of our gorgeous little corn cakes, scatter them on this lovely little plate. Let's do 5. I like uneven numbers. It's a weird chef thing. If you go to a restaurant, you might notice that they always give you either 3 or 5. Uneven numbers is more fun, okay? So our little corn cakes down there, and I'm gonna serve it a little bit of flaky salt over the top because flaky salt makes everything better. And then I like to, let's see, I'm gonna borrow that creme fraiche. Oh, it's over here. We're gonna dollop some creme fraiche. So good. You could absolutely serve this with sour cream, but you know what? When you're elevating a picnic and you're trying to be a little bougie, do the creme fraiche. It is so good, okay? So I'm just doing little dollops on each because everyone wants to join the creme fraiche party. It's just like a fancier, better sour cream. It's the French version of sour cream, better than American version. Some chives all over so we can reinforce that beautiful oniony flavor because chives and corn love each other. And then we're gonna add just a little bit of cilantro because corn also loves cilantro and jalapeno and all those flavors kind of go together. And I just scatter some cilantro over, and you can serve these with a little lime wedge, which we will do when we're ready to eat them. That is gonna be our beautiful little corn fritters, okay? Honestly, can't wait to eat that. Should I taste it? I should taste it. This happens every time. And I might regret it because my mouth is gonna be full, but you guys, these hot corn fritters, they're just calling my name. We need to give this a taste and make sure it's delicious. And it really is. It really is. Abby wants them, she's jealous. Okay, Abby, one more bite. Abby gets to try them too, wow. You've got still some pop and texture from that corn because we didn't blitz them all the way up. You got that beautiful caramelized crust. You can taste that oniony, and it's just fairly spicy from the jalapeno. And then the creaminess of the creme fraiche. It was a fabulous dish. You should make all summer long, honestly. Okay, beautiful. So the next thing I'm gonna do, we're just about ready. Yvonne has got, I'm gonna show you how we finish the lobster roll and zucchini, okay? Yvonne did a great job. I believe there was an accident over there. I saw Abby and Yvonne laughing. So she tore up these zucchinis, okay? Once they're done, you saw how they look. To make them actually easy to eat and not overwhelming, we tear them up. And I don't like to cut them because I think they look so much more fun as this sort of uneven, torn situation. I like a very rustic style cooking, especially for picnics. So if you tear them by hand, you get these uneven, kind of jagged pieces, some smaller, some bigger, and it's a really fun way to serve them. And she's put them in a bowl. I had previously added white balsamic vinegar and some lemon juice and a bit of a nice olive oil. I like to finish with a good olive oil so that the flavor is actually really, really nice. And we put those in right after they're off the griddle. She tore them up because while they're warm, they will soak up that beautiful sauce, okay? The longer they sit, the more they'll soak up and the better these guys get. These are actually gonna be delicious by tomorrow. How we're gonna finish these off, actually, I guess I'll do that after. I'll show you the lobster rolls first, okay? But there's quite a few toppings that make these zucchini actually delicious. They'd be good right now, but we're gonna add quite a few items that are really gonna elevate everything. So I'm gonna show you the lobster rolls first, and then I will platter up the zucchini, okay? So here we are. Lobster, Yvonne has done a beautiful job pulling out the meat from the shells. First things first, I'm gonna take that beautiful lobster meat, and I am going to add it right into our butter. And you guys see, I do not cut them into little chunks. I want whole, big pieces of lobster. That way you're really gonna know what you're eating and you get beautiful bites of it. Again, we're just kind of elevating everything. So it goes in that butter, and I'm just kind of tossing it around so everything's getting into that butter bath and soaking up that flavor and kind of re-warming through that lobster. So I'm gonna let this sit while I finish up the buns, the all-important buns. Beautiful little brioche hot dog buns, but guess what? For those who know a lobster roll, you don't want any hot dog bun. You want it top split. So if you can, it doesn't open from the side, it opens from the top. That's how a lobster roll should be. If you can't find them, because oftentimes they're not that easy to find, no big deal. A regular hot dog bun will work great. But I split them open, and I'm gonna take some of that butter, and I'm gonna brush it all over my perfect little buns, okay? And we're gonna get these nice and toasty. So we gotta do corn fritters on there. Whew. I am going to quickly wipe off the griddle. You don't really need to here because it's just kind of a neutral oil, but I want it to be more butter than oil. So we've got that, and then you're just gonna go ahead and let it toast. I'm gonna do that to these 3 beautiful little buns. Brush that butter on. You're not needing it to be soaked, just enough to sort of get that beautiful toasting and flavor. So it's very even everywhere. And now you guys get to see the griddle in action twice. And you know what? For those out there wondering, yes, this would also be delicious to grill the buns. I do that sometimes too, but we've already got our grill off and our griddle is still nice and hot, okay? So these buns are toasting through. The lobster is just about ready. Once those buns are toasted, we're gonna add our lobster onto the buns and finish with nothing but a beautiful sprinkling of chives, okay? So, Ab, we can move the camera right back over here. I'm gonna move all of these out of the way and show you how we finish up. I know there's a lobster plate somewhere. Oh, yep, perfect. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what I've got now, let's grab those gorgeous little buns. See how they look? They're a little delicate now, so I'm gonna use that spatula. Okay, so I can turn it and show you guys that beautiful toasty bun. Okay, there it is. Oh, it's right here. Coming this way. There it is. That's our gorgeous little bun. And now all you're gonna do, and I'm gonna leave these guys on there just a touch longer, and you're gonna take some of that gorgeous lobster, and I wanna show you it's soaking in its butter bath. So pretty. And you're gonna take a couple of those pieces, 2 nice chunks of lobster meat, okay? And just make sure it's really soaking in that butter. And you're gonna just lay it right on top of the bun. You know what? Just depending how much you like these guests, go ahead and do 3 pieces. I really like Abby and Yvonne, so I'm going all the way. You got a really beautiful full lobster roll there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze just a touch more lemon right over. A little bit extra bit of freshness. Some gorgeous chives all over the top. That is all a good lobster roll needs. Okay, that's how we finish our lobster roll. And now I'm gonna walk us over and show you our last item of discussion. So, oh, I should mention, we're gonna go over to the induction now. I'm gonna show you how we finish up this beautiful picnic. To move over to the induction, it's all the way across the kitchen. So Abby's gonna put the lid on the camera, so it's gonna go black. Don't worry guys, we're still here. That's just so you don't all get seasick as we move the camera over to the other side, okay? So we're moving all of our goods. I promise we're all still here. You're just gonna then see the other side of our kitchen. I'm gonna bring this with me. Oh, I guess I should assemble the zucchini over here too. I'll do that in this spot. Ooh, these are perfect. We're almost there. Yeah, this is gonna be perfect timing. Would you just grab the zucchini stuff after? I can just show them like at the end how we plate it all up. All right, guys, we have moved to the induction. You can see we are in a different side of the kitchen. And what I've got going here is a good time because you cannot serve your lobster rolls without chips. Yes, everyone, we are making fresh potato chips. And these are, I mean, I gotta be honest, of course I tested these earlier. So we were eating a few just to be safe. They're fantastic. To make them even better, we are seasoning them with Old Bay because when in lobster roll town, why not have this Old Bay seasoning as well? It is going to add a little bit of punch and seasoning. If you know Old Bay seasoning, people out there, you'll know what I mean. Old Bay is just so good. So we're gonna make these Old Bay seasoned potato chips, okay? Now, what you can't see here is the little potatoes kind of sizzling away. These need, there's a couple keys to good homemade potato chips, and I'm gonna kind of walk you through them, okay? Number 1 is gonna be the prep. We use a mandolin, and actually I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna do after these. We've got beautiful sweet potatoes as well, both purple and orange. So you can see all the colors of the rainbow. You're gonna slice them thin on a mandolin. And really you need a mandolin for this because no one's gonna be able to get that perfect 1/8 of an inch slice on every single potato. Consistency is key. So a mandolin is how we slice these up after they're washed, and then we soak them in water. And we kind of toss the potatoes around, dump that water, add another batch of water. We're just getting rid of as much starch as possible. Okay, so usually about 2 rounds of that rinsing, and then you add more water to this bowl with the potatoes, little sliced potatoes, and you add a bunch of vinegar. That vinegar is gonna help us with the crispy texture and making sure the potatoes don't go brown too quickly, but it really mainly is for that texture, that crispiness. That vinegar is gonna help us get that. And then of course, frying them, a very important aspect. You don't want to go hot and fast here. You might think, let's crank this up to 400 degrees, the oil temperature, and just make them brown and crispy quickly. No, you want time. These should be at about, the oil you want at about 300 degrees. The induction is the best way to control that. So I have really the most control when using the induction system. Gas is a little bit harder to control that temperature, but induction is so precise and accurate and does exactly what I want it to when I want it to. So as soon as I want this to be a little bit higher, it'll go higher. If it's starting to get over to 325 degrees, I can lower it and it will react immediately. So induction is truly the best way to fry. Honestly, there's no other way to say it. I love fried food, and the induction will be the best way, unless you get the fryer module, which is also an option. Well, that'll be great too, okay? So we're using this. The other huge benefit of the induction and why we love to fry on the induction, look at this surface. It is like a flat, clean glass surface, and we're gonna get a lot of splatters when you fry. You should, you will. That's just inherently what happens when something with water hits hot oil. You'll get splatter, okay? That's fine, that's great. But now the cleanup is so easy. You can just take water and vinegar and wipe it down with a microfiber cloth, you're done. Or you could be proactive and put down a piece of parchment paper under your pan so that when it splatters, you're not gonna have any mess to clean up. You just pull the parchment away and the surface is already clean. So the induction is so, so easy to clean, so easy to use, and it's so precise, giving us perfect little potato chips. And I'm gonna pull these out so you guys can see they're starting to turn golden. Not quite there, but very close. One of the things you wanna look for when frying potatoes, as we've talked about, there are certain cues. You can't just follow a recipe and follow the exact time, because it's probably gonna be slightly different for every person in every kitchen every time you cook it. But you'll wanna see when the oil stops bubbling, that's really when we're ready to go, because that means all the water has evaporated and cooked out of the potatoes and we're at that crispiest point, okay? That is the key we're looking for with potato chips. Do we have any questions on the induction? We haven't had any questions this whole time. Great. We're gonna let those finish. They need like just 2 more minutes maybe. And while they're going, I'm gonna show you how we finish up this zucchini salad. You can do multiple things at once, okay? Oh, yes, good idea. So, platter, zucchini and all the toppings. You're gonna take that gorgeous zucchini that has now been soaking in that liquid for at least 20 minutes, and we're just gonna go ahead and lay it out on this platter, juices and all, okay? I'm kind of just gonna messily, that is actually a true word, toss them down. And like I said, those juices in there, that's a good thing, okay? And you just let them kind of sit as they may. Again, we don't need perfect. We just want it to look a little bit rustic, and the vegetable itself is beautiful. And then we're gonna top with a few of my favorite things, a really good briny feta cheese. So I get this special feta cheese, and it is one of the most delicious feta cheeses I've ever used. You know what? Those potato chips are done, okay? Now my hands are all feta-y. Ooh, a cloth. But I gotta pull these potato chips out because the oil has stopped. We have a very, very light amount of oil, and you see that beautiful golden color, okay? So we're gonna pull the chips, and I like to use a spider, and it goes right onto this sheet with paper towels. It's lined with paper towels so that all the excess oil kind of gets soaked up. Throw them all down, and then very, very important, this step, honestly, if you miss this, then you may as well just not even eat the potato chips. We season now. Will you grab me the salt, Yvonne? Old Bay, kind of going all over, and salt, okay? So I'm sprinkling the Old Bay, more or less, depending on your tastes. But I want a good amount of Old Bay because I love it. And then salt, okay? And I'm just gonna go over. You wanna do this right when they come out of the fryer so that they're still a little bit wet and the salt will stick. This is how we season, okay? And now we've got our lobster roll. You guys can see here. Which way do I wanna go? This way. No, you're good, okay? And I'm just gonna go ahead and you're gonna add those gorgeous potato chips. I should probably give it a taste. So crunchy. I know you guys could hear that because you guys are in my ear. So, and you load up as many beautiful, salty, Old Bay seasoned potato chips as your heart desires. That is a perfect summer meal right there. Really, you don't need all the other food, but the other food's good too. Which, back to that, we're gonna finish up. To the zucchini. Feta, zucchini, a couple of my 2 favorite condiments that I made earlier. These are pickled Fresno chili peppers and pickled shallots. So number 1, how cute with those different colors. And number 2, pickly things are just always good. Always, always. These are spicy, beautiful little Fresno peppers that, again, have been pickled. So they've got a really good amount of spice, but also pickliness. So they add really a lot to this dish. I love a little spice in everything. And when it's a little pickly too, I promise you, it's just even better. So I've got a beautiful couple of those. Also, you know they're pretty. Bright red little circles. And now our little pink pickled shallots, which I used the burners, and I just kind of quickly brought to a simmer some sugar and some white wine vinegar and some salt. That's all these are, quick pickles. Did this about an hour ago. So this is, we've got colors galore. And then finally, we're gonna do some roasted chopped pistachios for some crunch and nuttiness, and some beautiful mint, okay? And that mint, as much mint as your heart desires. I love mint. Zucchini and mint together is a fabulous pair, so I do a lot. That is our gorgeous zucchini dish, okay? All the colors, all the flavors, all the textures. Nothing looks as good on this camera, and it always is so sad, but it's beautiful here. Okay, guys, we have one more dish, and then we're done. I'm gonna show you how we plate up thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to, and you can't have potato chips here or not. Just eat them. These are gonna be gone before I'm done. I'm gonna finish up the last dish right here, Ab. There's a little more space. Our dessert, guys, I know you couldn't forget about that. That's perfect. So very simple, you guys saw every part of this process, okay? And I'm realizing now I should probably slide those down so you guys can see what I'm doing. Finish up the dessert. It's very, very easy. So we're gonna do it in probably 2 minutes. We've got our mascarpone. Will you help me grab the strawberry and the coconut crisp that I can't find? Oh, it's right here, perfect, okay? So we've got all of our pieces and parts, coconut crisp, and our beautiful strawberry jam. I'm just gonna get out another spoon. I wanna show you guys this, nice and hot. Oh, okay. This, look at how our strawberries have transformed. They have cooked down, they are thick, they are jammy, they're caramelized. Like, that is an incredible process, okay? So we've got our beautiful little strawberries. We're gonna take mason jars, like I said earlier, picnic, perfectly transportable. So I like to start with a little bit of that reduced strawberry jam, okay? And then dollop in some of that gorgeous vanilla bean, honey sweetened mascarpone, and then a little bit of our crispy coconut crisp. And you're just gonna layer. We're creating a beautiful little layered dessert. So you can do as many layers as you want, as few layers as you want. Get as big or as small of jars as your heart desires. And you'll just keep kind of stacking these up until you've got a nice, beautiful set of desserts to take to the picnic. So we'll do that. One more small dollop of that mascarpone. And of course, I mean, honestly, this coconut crisp, you're gonna wanna eat like candy. But that's gonna be what all of our desserts look like. Put the lid on and you'll be able to head to your picnic. Okay, guys, that's our full menu. We did it. We hit every appliance. No one had a single question or a single comment. So either you all left or I did a really good job teaching. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, or you're looking into remodeling or building, looking into appliances, we have showrooms, Roth does, around the country, here in Salt Lake, Denver, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Kansas City. And so if you guys are in that area, we'd love to have you come into the showroom, see it, look at all the appliances in person, come to a class that's in person where you can actually eat all the delicious food we're gonna do right now. But if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to any of your showrooms. Any of the consultants or chefs or managers there would be so happy to help you. But that is our Chef's Table elevated picnic for this June hot summer day. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your week and have a good weekend.